if you want to do maker stuff, and then you start programming. I'm going to throw this into the audience so people can have a bit of a. Just those of you who haven't seen them, you just want to pass it around and take a look. I guess I'm going to try and justify. Most of what I'm going to do today, I'm going to try and justify this award. I'm going to try and demonstrate that we are a reasonably hackable device. I have a collection of pictures of interesting hacking projects. We've been selling this thing for about 6 months. There are about 400,000 Raspberry Pis in the wild today, including the thousands that are in the maker shed over there. So I'm just going to show you a selection of things that have happened to us over the last 6 months. Things that people have done with the Raspberry Pi that we think are interesting. I'm going to try and go through nice and quickly, and then at the end hopefully I can take some questions. Just very briefly to start off, for me personally, Raspberry Pi has been about a 6-year journey. It comes out of my time at the University in Cambridge, and particularly out of some very dispiriting experiences I have trying to find 17-year-old kids to come to university and study computer science. And this perception that I had that really every year we were getting fewer and fewer people, and every year the things that those people knew how to do got less and less sophisticated. And so really, you can see Raspberry Pi as an attempt to kind of get back to some of that 1980s software hacking, try and get the best of the 1980s era of software hacking with perhaps the last decade's emphasis on hardware hacking and community. So I'm just going to charge through my 15-slide deck. I'll try and say just a few words about each of the things. So I'll start off with a few things that people have done with Raspberry Pis that we've been particularly impressed with. All of these examples are taken from our blog at raspberrypi.org, which is run by my wife, Liz, who is this lady here. Woo! She should really be up here. She's the one who makes it kind of interesting. So here we go. Okay, first one, music. So this is a thing called piano. Yeah, this is a digital analog synthesizer that you can run on your Raspberry Pi. I think it currently has 4-note polyphony and a fairly sophisticated model of an underlying analog synth. Very cute. We're hoping this was developed by a chap who's on our forums, a guy called Phil Upton. Still under active development, but we really hope we've been doing a lot of work to support direct connection to MIDI devices with the Raspberry Pi.
A little bit about
okay, that's one. 2, beer.
And then
perhaps should have started with this one.
You're going to
believe the number. Yeah, beer. Woo! You will not believe the number of people who their first thought when they saw a Raspberry Pi was going to go drink, or perhaps to make their own drink. So I think we know what, about 3 or 4 breweries, not even individual, not even kind of home brewers, but real breweries that are using Raspberry Pis in their brewery control systems. I believe we've done a deal with one of them, a licensing deal with one of them to produce a Raspberry Porter, which is great. I mean, obviously there are quality control issues that we're going to have to, we wouldn't want our brand to be associated with defective products, so there's going to be a lot of testing and tasting over this couple of months before that hits the market. Penguins. This is a game called Penguin Puzzle. One of the lovely things about the Raspberry Pi, when we were designing it, we thought to get children's interest and to get children's attention, we didn't just want to build a platform that you could use to hack on. We wanted to build a platform that you could use to do that had a reasonable amount of graphical performance. So what we've ended up with in Raspberry Pi is a device which has a level of 3D graphics performance somewhere between a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation 3. Now that admittedly doesn't look like a PlayStation 2 quality game, but it is enormously good fun, and it now apparently ships with Raspberry Pi as standard. We're really hoping over the rest of this year we're going to start to see some really nice commercial game content on the platform.
So do I have to wait for Eben to finish?
Light. We've been enormously.
How much time?
Some of you may have heard of a company called Eben Industries.
I'm just plugging it in.
If you do about 3 to 5
we have been enormously fortunate. We started out at the Raspberry Pi Foundation with a very parochial interest in making things good for the British education sector and the British computing industry. We have an enormous amount of, we have a very large public profile in the UK, but at least until fairly recently we've had a somewhat smaller profile out here. We've been enormously fortunate that Adafruit have really taken to the Raspberry Pi. They've been doing amazing stuff. They resell Raspberry Pis, they sell fantastic kits. and is it Pi Day? Every Friday. Every Friday is Pi Day. And they do these wonderful projects, and this one is an example of a light painting, it's a stick of LEDs. You connect it to a Raspberry Pi and you wave it around, and that image in the back there is produced by the stick. Yeah, the lovely thing, one of these every week, every Friday is Pi Day. Fish. Fish. This thing is called fish pie. The wonderful thing, I mean, Raspberry Pi, the Raspberry Pi name comes from Raspberry as fruit name computer companies. There have been one or two of those. Pi is, before we decided we wanted to make a device that was a general purpose Linux box, we were thinking of producing a device which is much simpler and that could only run Python. And so our name comes from Raspberry and then the Pi out of Python misspelled. The wonderful thing about that is it just seems to be the name that keeps giving in terms of puns. So I've got another one coming up immediately after this one. This one is Fish Pie. It's intended to be an autonomous little ship that's going to sail around the Atlantic with the Pi on. They're looking for Kickstarter funding. This one is on. I think this one is on Kickstarter at the moment as a project. I'm not sure what they're offering as prizes. I don't think you can get a ride on this boat. Okay, this is my personal favourite and another pun. This is Pie in the Sky. I think this is a 320 by 240 image of the Earth taken from 40 kilometres up from a weather balloon. This is a guy called Dave Eben in the UK. He holds the record for using his Pi platform, he holds the record for the highest altitude photographs sent down in real time from an amateur vehicle. People have gone higher and recovered their images, taken images and recovered them on landing. This thing was sending down slow scan data packets from the south, launched this in the south of England, and then people all over the UK were picking up the packets. We think this sort of thing has fantastic science fair, has fantastic school science fair potential. The budget that he had for this is within the reach of every school in the UK, every school in the US. You can have kids either building the things and sending it up, or just operating a radio receiving station picking up the packets. So I love this one because I'm a space cadet. Okay, so those were our little example projects. What do people plug into the, what else do we have apart from Raspberry Pi? One of the lovely things is, all the foundation is interested in doing is producing the Pi. We're not particularly interested in going and eating a load of value elsewhere in the ecosystem. So this board here is an example of the kind of add-ons that people are really starting to produce. It's called the GERT board. The Raspberry Pi has a certain amount of unbuffered 3v3 GPIO. What this does is this gives you buffering, so if you get some more robustness. You get, obviously with a $35 device, you can be a little bit more relaxed about what happens if you shoot 12 volts up and blow it up. But this does give you a little bit more robustness. It gives you 5 volt I/O. It has an Atmel on there, which I understand people have got a substantial amount of the Arduino stack running on. So it gives you a degree of interoperability on that board with Arduino for free. If you don't want a bit of interoperability with Arduino, you want a lot of interoperability with Arduino. What we've discovered is that Arduino makes a fantastic GPIO expander analog interfacing board for the Raspberry Pi, because the Raspberry Pi has a USB host port. You can both run the Arduino tools on the Raspberry Pi, and you can plug the Arduino into the Raspberry Pi and use it as an I/O expander. We've seen a lot of people doing this. I think sometimes there's been a bit of an attempt to set Raspberry Pi and Arduino up as being kind of opposing projects. We don't really recognise that as being reality. We think that Arduino has really compelling advantages of its own. It has lower power consumption, has analog input. We have advantages. We have a lot more processing power and a lot more memory, and we can drive a display. So we increasingly think we're going to see a lot of this. We're encouraging our partners to offer Arduino and Raspberry Pi kits together to allow people to do exactly this sort of project. Camera. The board has a camera connector on it. I said we're not interested in eating too much of the value chain. The two add-on boards the foundation itself are going to produce is an LCD display board, because that requires a certain amount of hacking inside the guts of the GPU. We're also going to produce a camera board. So this is a photograph taken with our 14 megapixel prototype camera board. The actual camera board we ship is likely to be a 5 megapixel camera board, largely for cost reasons. This shows something I probably should mention. I work for Broadcom in my day job. Raspberry Pi is not yet my day job. I work for Broadcom. We use a Broadcom chip in the device. And there's been sort of speculation that this is this is not an official Broadcom project. This is a thing I do in my spare time. However, one of the things we can see on here, these three guys are all Broadcom employees. These are people who are giving their evenings and weekends. These chaps are on the left, Gert van Leeuwen, who gave his name to the Gert board. In the middle there, James Hughes, and here, Nosh Patel. These guys are Broadcom in Cambridge who have been working on this. So we are absolutely, although this is not an official Broadcom project, we are absolutely indebted to the help of many of my colleagues in Cambridge. Amazing guys. Book, I'm not. That's really kind of poor. We have a book. This is. I'm going to skip over this. I feel embarrassed about even having put this up. This is my book that I wrote. That Liz wrote. But it has my name on, so it's my book. One of the wonderful things that's happened from our point of view at the Foundation is we have these things called Raspberry Jams in the UK. The Raspberry Jam organisation is a completely independent organisation from the Foundation. It's a bunch of Raspberry Pi enthusiasts who get together all over the country on a fairly regular basis to talk about the Raspberry Pi, to share what they've done with it, and to provide particularly teachers who are interested in introducing this into the class, and the guy who runs it as a teacher, to provide teachers with some guidance as to how they might effectively deploy this in the class environment. A lot of Raspberry Jams in the UK, but increasingly we've got some in Australia. There have been at least ones in the Bay Area. So this is a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing because it gives people a friendly environment to experience Raspberry Pi, and it's wonderful from the Foundation's point of view because it's run by some other organisation, so we don't have to think about it too much.
Don't fuck anybody.
Magpie, this is amazing. This is a magazine. I remember as a child, I got my start in computer programming by typing listings in from a magazine, and we sort of thought vaguely, hey man, it'd be really great if there was a Raspberry Pi magazine, and then we turned around and there was one. I think this is on its 5th edition. It's currently a PDF. It's currently a PDF. But I heard that there was some talk about maybe having a print version. It's really got this wonderful. I encourage you to go and download it. It really has a wonderful kind of 1980s computer magazine feel.
I feel like
an example of I'm not trying to eat too much of the value chain. We never cased the Raspberry Pi. The reason we never designed a case for the Raspberry Pi is we thought we were only going to sell about 10,000. We are in our wildest dreams. We thought we'd sell 10,000 Raspberry Pis. We didn't think we could afford or justify the injection molding, the expensive cutting and injection mold to make a case for the Raspberry Pi. What we accidentally did by doing that, by not casing it, was we created an entire cottage industry of cases. This one is one that I'm particularly fond of. This is a thing called the Pivo. Do this one first. This is the Punnet. It's a zero cost case because it comes as a PDF you can print out and fold up. Legos. We would love to claim that the Raspberry Pi is the size it is because it fits in nicely with the Lego base unit size. It was a complete accident. The Raspberry Pi is the size it is because that's the size of a credit card. But it turns out that the credit card fits very nicely into the Lego base unit size. So a Lego case like that will hold a Pi very snugly. This example was designed by a girl called Beers, who is a scout in the UK. And you can actually now buy a kit for this from a Lego website of some sort. And Biz designed this. She gets royalties. Go and buy this case. Go and buy the kit. If you buy this kit, she gets royalties, which she has elected to take in the form of Legos. Which yes, is brilliant. Also, in the UK we sell Lego. And the final one, this is a thing called the Pivo, absolutely remarkable case. Laser cut. This is a stack of laser cut Perspex. The first time I saw this was actually designed by a guy called Paul Beach, who also designed our logo for us in a contest last year. The first time I saw this at a conference, there was a 7-year-old girl walking past, and he showed me a prototype. The 7-year-old girl was walking past, and her head just went snapped round. She was like, "Is that a Raspberry Pi case?" And he was like, "Yeah, it is." He was like, "Where can I buy one?" And in the 8 weeks since that conference, he has sold how many? 5,000, some incredible number. So these are fantastic. You can buy these. You can buy these ones.
I figured that if we came back up while he was
kids. Although most of our Raspberry Pis have been selling to people like us, being the adults in the room. There is some evidence that they get into the hands of kids as well. People send us these absolutely wonderful pictures. Here is a kid using a Raspberry Pi in the UK. His name is Mikey. Here are some more kids. We thought we were just trying to solve the problem in the UK. Turns out kids all over the world want to. These kids are in India, these kids are in Pradesh. It turns out kids all over the world want to program computers. It's absolutely fantastic. Give you an idea of where all the Raspberry Pis are. This is